All right, hello and welcome. So today we're going to go over relatively quickly some news from EHG, this one on Arena Champions. I haven't really covered much of the patch yet because, well, there's only been, as far as like what's worthy of covering, the dungeon. And there's a second dungeon that's going to be announced tomorrow, so I'll probably just do both those together if I do them. But this one I want to talk about because it's a pretty significant shift in one of the systems of the game. That being, of course, the arena. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the gist of it is that there's two big things happening here. One is there's a new zone that's called, where is it? Champions Gate. So we're gonna go to a new zone now in order to use the arena, where it used to be just in the end of time. Like if you went like straight up, there was just a portal you take, and that's how you got to it. Now it'll be this Champions Gate, which looks pretty legit. Like this zone looks pretty sweet. I'm guessing this has something to do with getting in there. It looks like a portal. And then they've also got some new training dummies, including like this, triple, so you can check out your AOE. And it was confirmed or later in the forum, like under the the comments, that there are some of these now that are labeled as enemies. These are labeled as barrels, which I know barrels, but because they're labeled as barrels, they can't be attacked by your minions directly. You can force them to attack, but some of them won't do it anyway. Like I don't think totems will attack them. So we'll actually get some training dummies that work on or with certain abilities that otherwise weren't working before. So that's good. That's a really nice feature. But of course, what this is mostly about is the actual Arena of Champions, which is this new addition to the arena system. So currently we have endless arena, and that's it. You just go in, you do arena until you either die or decide you're done with it, and it just scales up from 1 to whatever. There's an arena key of memory you can get to start later, but outside of that there's no real changes in how it functions mechanically. It's always effectively the same thing. But the new system, you now have tiers. There's like 4 tiers plus your endless. Endless still works like it used to. It still has the same keys, the memory key, all that stuff are still the same. But the tier ones are different. So you can see right here on this one, we have tier 1. It's a level 50, and you fight through 60 waves of monsters, culminating in a fight against an arena champion. Now, arena champion is a new concept, did not exist before. So this is where this stuff gets, I guess you could say, kind of fresh. Besides the fact that you don't fight these endlessly, you just do 60 waves, then you fight the champion. We don't know much about tiers 2, 3, and 4. We only see this tier 1 here, starting at level 50. I'm guessing this starts at a higher level. And we don't know how they scale either. Like the more waves you do, are they going to scale similar to how Endless did? Or are they going to scale in their own independent way, since they're actually locked at a certain number of waves? Will there be more waves in tiers 2, 3, and 4? We just, we don't know that yet. But we do know at least that there's a set number of waves, and there's Arena Champion at the end. So the Arena Champions are also shown off here a bit. So we've got Vian, the Arsenal, who is effectively a Forge Guard. He uses Warpath, he uses Forge Strike, and he uses, I forget what this is called, the channeling furnace-like thing. They're all Sentinel skills, and they all seem to be thematic around Forge Guard. You've got Crimson Blade, which is clearly a Blade Dancer. Uses, looks like Dancing Strikes. There's Flurry in there. It looks like you even have Acid Flask. So yeah, lots of rogue stuff there. And then this one is also clearly primeless Beastmaster, but we don't see him using any beasts. The lore on this says he doesn't really seem to care about his pets. I don't know if that means he's going to use them as some sort of sacrificial stuff or what. We see him using Swipe. There's Avalanche in here, and there's Fury Leap. So these are all using player abilities and have like player style classes. But they don't seem to have anything to do with like a build anyone's created. Like they're not like, oh, Lizard made this super Pog Omega build and now you got to go fight it. It's nothing like that. It's just these guys are thematic to a particular class and a kind of like a play style, and they're going to use your skills or player skills against them in this arena. So we'll see how difficult they are. How that actually plays out as we actually fight these champions. The last section here is on rewards, and there's not much here. Unfortunately, it's actually the part I care about the most. I love awards in my ARPGs. I want to, or rewards, not awards. I want to know what I'm going to get for my efforts. Is it going to be worth my time as far as advancing my character and progression? But it basically just tells you, there's rewards. You get stuff. They're holding on to stuff. You get stuff, and also Other trinkets like rare keys to hidden passages across the Terra. Mike has said on the dev stream that they drop dungeon keys. Let's assume that rare keys are dungeon keys. So this is a way to get dungeon keys to do those. But outside of that, we don't really get much information on what kind of rewards. Are there unique rewards? Do they have their own like uniques that drop off of them? We have no idea what's going on there. I remember in the past dev saying that there wasn't, but the way this is worded, maybe there actually are. Or maybe it's just standard fare stuff that's going to drop off these guys, and maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. I can say if it's just dungeon keys and it's not like a really good amount of rewards dropping off them, doing 60 waves and killing effectively a boss to get your rewards might not be worth it. We'll have to see. So one concern I do want to raise though, and this is like a more general concern, this is kind of playing into, is I've noticed a trend recently with Monolith feeling like it's kind of being pushed to the side. Monolith is the primary endgame system, has been labeled as such. We now have an arena champion system that you get keys off of that you don't seem to require keys to go into. Maybe you do, we'll see. But you get keys off of to go into dungeons that are also not directly linked to the Monolith. So it effectively feels like you can start to skip the Monolith except for your blessings and unique rewards off the bosses, but nothing's getting tied into the Monolith to make it more exciting, more engaging. All this stuff is being put independent of the Monolith, and the only thing you really can do in the Monolith to access these is have keys drop or echo rewards. They're not, there's not a whole lot going on in the Monolith is what I'm trying to get to, and that's concerning to me that everything seems to be being put outside of the primary endgame system into these static content, scenarios where, this one's just like fight arenas and then kill one of 3 bosses, and then dungeons are even more static where they're do however many, levels and then fight the same boss every time. So we'll see how this plays out, if this actually ends up being a really strong skip or not, and whether or not some more gets added to the mono in the future. But I did want to point that out. I'm noticing this trend, and Arena Champions seems to only be adding to that trend. If we can start to get dungeon keys out of the mono, not even going to the monolith at all, then the monolith is starting to really take a back seat to content that, in my opinion, may not be as interesting, but we'll see. All right, that's all I really want to say on it. We'll check it out, of course, on Friday. We'll see how the content actually is. We'll see if the rewards are any good. It definitely is an interesting system. It brings more variety to the arena, which was easily the most basic system before this. Yeah, and we'll just go from there. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great time in Last Epoch. I look forward to playing it on Friday with you all, and I'll see y'all again real soon.